Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to iAllegedly. I've got a good one for you today because I have a question, and that is, are all the banks in trouble right now? Is it not just one, or is it all of them? It may seem dramatic, but we need to get into this and cover this. Like, subscribe, and let's talk about this. One thing that has happened with the silver spike over the course of the last week to 10 days is that we're hearing rumors that a bank has gone out of business. Now, I contacted the FDIC. There has been no bank that has gone out of business. But one thing that has happened through the Fed is that you're seeing a spike in repo money and the money that they borrow overnight from multiple banks to keep them afloat. Now, the thing about this that is wild is that the numbers are staggering. And I mean, it is unbelievable. Over the course of the last couple months, specifically, let's start with Halloween because that was a big day. On Halloween, somebody went out and they borrowed a ton of money to keep the banks afloat. $29.4 billion was borrowed on Halloween. Now, so far, that was the largest day of the year. So that's where I stopped. I just stopped at that. And one thing that we had happen this week, and that was on the earlier this week, we had a total of $25.95 billion that was borrowed overnight for year-end funding to help the strain of support. Now, wait a second. What we're being told by banks is you don't keep as much money in the bank as you used to. Deposits are off. People are making less money. The whole banking system is broken. Blah, 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 blah. It's just one big lie. Now, here's the thing that you have with the end of the year. With yesterday, you have $50 billion, $50.5 billion to be exact, that was borrowed to shore up banks. Well, wait a second. What if they don't get this money? Think about this. Imagine you just have a rich daddy, can I get some cash? That's what they're doing. And there is no strength in the fiat currency right now, in our regular dollars right now. There just isn't. And for you to sit around and walk around and act like this is, why is silver shooting up? What's the demand? Ooh, it's EV cars. No, it's not, guys. It's that people know that this monetary system that we're living in is broken. If you listen to people like Greg Manarino, who I love, Greg is a good guy, but Greg's saying, get your money out of every regional bank. Once again, I've had people go to credit unions and walk in there and demand the financial statements of a credit union and say, explain to me what your outstanding loans are, your bad loans, your deposits, everything. I had one guy, Nick, who just went to town with his local credit union, and the manager spent 45 minutes with him. This was like 2 years ago. This happened. But the point was that you could walk into certain, offices, and they would tell you exactly where they stood financially. Do that with Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is not going to tell you where things are at. We're the largest, one of the big four. We're one of the largest banks. That's what they're going to tell you. And come on, okay? This whole thing is just it's teetering on disaster right now, and that's why silver and gold have shot up so much over the course of the last couple of years. Look at Italy with how they've bought gold. That's all you need to know. Italy has gone and bought more gold and has, hundreds of, tons of gold right now. The $34 trillion that people have talked about is tied to, it's not tied to an individual crisis or a bank failure. It's just tied to the largest documented amount that we can find is liquidity issues, operating on strain. But again, wait a second. How many businesses have failed? We've talked about record bankruptcies this year, which I'll talk about a little bit. There's over 700 major bankruptcies, not mom and pops, major companies that employ in excess of 100 people, large companies that have gone out of business in the last year. You know, all these anonymous forums online, everything talking about how we've seen all these bank failures. They're just You can't back it up right now. You can back up one thing, and that is you can see how much money the Fed has lent the banks over the course of the last week. That's scary. And it's not just one bank, it's multiple banks that have used this money to shore things up. Bank reserves have declined and short-term funding markets have tightened. Demand for repo liquidity rises. Technical signs of stress in the money markets keep increasing. Once again, it's not verified to an individual bank going out of business. It's just the whole system going out of business. And the fact that, you're going to see more and more money, but think about this. $50.5 billion was borrowed yesterday. Hello. That should be enough to keep you concerned over this. It's funny. I went to my local city to, I got to pay the water bill. I'll just drive over there. It's on the way to the dry cleaners. City took off between the 24th of December through the 1st. So through Friday, the 2nd, basically, these guys are closed. Could you imagine that much time off for a city? Who's doing what? Who's taking care of emergencies and things like that? It's a lot more to cover. Here's something fun. Today is National Bacon Day, and I had multiple people email me and text me and say, you got to go to Wendy's and get the 1-cent bacon cheeseburger. It's a penny. You just got to download the app. The app is free. Let's see if we get it. I downloaded it. It says I got rewards, so we'll see. Let's go check it out. Okay, it totally worked. It was a penny. Junior bacon cheeseburger for National Bacon Day. Okay, what do you guys think? It's early in the morning, so I'm the first one of the day to try it. I love stuff like this, don't you? Love discounts and deals like this every now and then. What's next? Let me know. Now that was fun. What's funny is you always get, hey, it's National Hot Dog Day, it's National Donut Day, it's National Hot Taco Day. It was National Bacon Day yesterday, so I went and did that. But my point is business right now is suffering in such a big way, and it doesn't make a bit of difference what industry you're in. Read the story below. 700 major bankruptcies have happened this year, and people are tired of talking about things like that. But you have to look at the fact that people are spending less money in every single aspect of the economy. Tesla. You can sit there and say Tesla's horrible because there's this degenerate named Elon Musk that's running the company. That is ridiculous, okay? It is the number one EV car company in the world, okay? BYD and all that stuff in China, they can't get them here. There's 100% tariffs on those cars. I still think if you have such a cheap car and you paid 100% tariff on it, wouldn't it be interesting? Well, then you have to meet all the U.S. safety restrictions that they don't have in other countries. Oh, crumple zones and cars not disintegrating when you get into an accident, things like that. Now, Tesla's delivery year over year are going to decline, it looks like, for the second straight year. 1.6 million cars. Now, that's a lot of cars, but still, that's a disaster when it comes to Tesla. So, nothing is the same. Nothing is working the way it did before. Customer service is off. Think about it. You had, for me to go to a Wendy's, which I was trying to think, God, when was the last time I went to Wendy's? It's been years, guys, since I bought food at Wendy's. Bought iced teas and stuff like that. But food at Wendy's, can't remember the last time. At least 2 years. So you got to get me a penny cheeseburger to go out and get that. Services that are being offered by every single industry, we used to have them for free. What's funny? When you fly like on Delta, I think that's where my daughter flies a lot, and they have like the Sky Miles and the Sky Lounge and things like that. They are making these more and more difficult to get yourself to where you can get the benefits of this. My late girlfriend had the Marriott benefits and Westin hotels. So these were great back then. When Lisa was running her business and she would have a class, I could go sit in those lounges and eat for free and drink for free sodas, and then at night they would have open bar and things like that for people that were interested in that. But that's what you would get. You would pay for a certain point, pay for these perks, pay for usage in the hotel, and get that. Marriott is such a bunch of CMFs, and the first word is cheap. And these guys have gone out and eliminated free water from the um, benefits program. Hey, hi Dan, good morning. Thank you for being a Bonvoy member. Would you like a water? Oh, I'd love a water. Been traveling all day. No, 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 I'm sorry, Dan. No more free waters. It might as well be Spirit Airlines. The Spirit Airlines of hotels will be Marriott. That'll be the new joke. I told you guys a story about how I was told a flight was delayed 2 hours. Then I was sitting there at breakfast in Las Vegas 2 years ago for Formula One. And hey, good news, your flight's on time. Okay, on time 2 hours from now, on time in 65 minutes. So we race there, we get there, I race through the airport. And like the woman said, if you run like O.J. Simpson, you can make the plane. Made the plane. They literally shut the door. Oh, you're Mr. Volker. Okay, when they shut the door behind me. And I dropped to my knees from running from my car to the airport. And I said, can I get a water? She goes, sure, that'll be $6. So that's what you have with Marriott now, $6, okay, to go buy your waters. One of the largest construction supply companies went out of business this week, and they filed bankruptcy. They're one of those companies that do porta potties. United Site Services. I guarantee you, if you live here in the United States, you've driven by a construction site and not even realized that you've driven by United Site Services property. They filed and went to all their creditors and filed a $2.4 billion bankruptcy, and they're going to stiff that much. The deal is that these people are not going to be able to get their money. They're going to be offered stock in the company. Well, that's what I want. I want stock in a porta potty company that's going bankrupt right now. But this is a sign of the times. And the sign of the times is that people right now are not doing regular construction projects. But think about this. This company had over $2.5 billion worth of debt. $2.5 billion worth of debt from a company that supplies fencing, toilets, and fun stuff like that for construction sites. Wow, someone's not paying their bills. Isn't that crazy? So again, we get to a point that everything is off right now. Now, oh Dan, silver's going to go up and it's going to go up, it's going to go down. You're going to see fluctuations in silver that you've never seen before. Cliff High has been right. You've got silver, we're going to see instead of 12 cents, 15 cents, you're going to see $2, $5, and you're going to see $10 swings. Wow. It's funny, you got these funky beach places, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, right on the water. I wonder what that thing's for. It's probably a boatload of money with having this as your backyard, but that's just me. Tyson Foods is shuttering a major Nebraska beef plant and cutting shifts elsewhere in a tight cattle market. People are not buying beef. Beef is going up in price. It's going to be more expensive than ever. Get ready for that. Dun, dun, dun. Okay? So, U.S. home prices versus the income gap. One thing I love to look at, and I love to look at history. When you look at what a married couple could do, man could go to work, he could work 40 hours a week, he could have weekends off, he could come, own a beautiful home, could take his wife on vacation, they could have 1 or 2 cars, put Jimmy and Johnny through school, go play football, go play baseball, she could go to dance classes, all that fun stuff. You could live a life like that in the 50s, 60s, even in some of the 70s. But the point is that the gap from purchasing home to your wages have completely gone the other direction, where it takes 2 incomes and then some. You got to borrow the down payment from mom and dad just to get through purchasing that home. That's where people are at right now. But the typical American home now costs roughly 5 times the median income. 5 times. I've had more people write me and tell me great stories about how, Dan, when I bought my home in 1978, I had a, 14% interest rate. Right. Your car today costs 3 times what that house did. My father, and I've told this story before, looked at a house in Anaheim and Garden Grove, California. One of them was 11,000. One of them was 13,500. Ooh, which one did you get? Well, I could not swing the extra $8 a month house payment. $8 deferred a house purchase. $8. $8. Okay, I spent more than that at Wendy's this morning. Okay, get it? 2026 is going to be an amazing year for every single one of us. I am thrilled with everything that's coming out, the discount shopping sites, the books, the video site, newvideos.com. I am thrilled with. I am thrilled how it turned out. It is awesome, and I cannot wait for the growth of that. And where it's taken off every day, there's more and more people on it. So check that out. Also, I love doing the private stuff on iAllegedly Live. It's just fantastic to be able to go out and talk in an uncensored manner. The stuff's too hot for other places, so you sign up at iAllegedly.tv is where you sign up for that. But let's make 2026 big. And also, guys, I'll see you very soon. And let's make 2026 the best year ever. Okay? And don't forget to pick up after your dog like that sign says. Okay? I'll see you soon.